Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So in this video, we're going to talk about this girl again, Anna Kepner. This is Anna, who was found deceased on the cruise ship. It turned out she was actually murdered, and it is her stepbrother who apparently is being investigated. But what we're going to look at in this video is Anna. Who did she have to turn to? You know, normally when I'm talking about a case, you know, your heart goes out to the family. My heart does go out to Anna's family all the same. But having said that, I do feel that in this case, her family, they just let her down. All her family. Who did this girl have to turn to? You know, she was exposed to this danger, even though it was known that this stepbrother, if you can call him a stepbrother, because I don't think Anna's father and the boy's mother had been together very long. They weren't like stepbrother and sister that had been brought up together. You know, this was he was a stranger really to her. And even though he'd displayed very disconcerting behaviour to Anna in the past, or so it seems, these are the stories that are coming out, she was made to share a stateroom with him on this cruise ship, with him and the other boy. And these were not, as I say, even step siblings that she'd been, you know, brought up with or knew really well. These are practical strangers. So I just feel she's been let down. Anyway, that's what we're going to talk about in this video, the circumstances of her death. I mean, I can't get this case out of my mind because I just think this girl was just left on her own to sort of, you know, face this danger. We're going to hear her mum talking. Her mum's released a Tik-Tok video, and her biological mum, and my heart breaks for her. But when you listen to this video, you think, really, she wasn't there to support Anna either, because she had other things going on. So who was there for Anna? Nobody. You know, and Anna has paid with her life for other people's lack of support towards her. So I'm sort of starting to get angry with them all for just leaving her like a lamb to the slaughter to share this stateroom with this boy who is very disturbed, and it was known was very disturbed. It wasn't as if they thought he was all peaches and cream and, you know, everything, nothing wrong. They knew there was something wrong with this boy, and they still made her, as an 18-year-old, stay in the stateroom with him, knowing his, you know, predilections, that he had a knife collection, he'd been violent towards Anna before, he'd acted inappropriately, he was sort of obsessed by her. They knew all that. So this is what's sort of going through my head at the moment, is she was let down. Not only he did this to her, if he did, allegedly, but what did her family do to stop it happening, especially her father, who's supposed to be a protector? And then you'll find out in this video, and we knew before anyway, he's got a predilection for pubescent girls. So, you know, he's not, what sort of a father is he really? You know, I'm starting to get angry about all of it. Is that why he didn't care about her? I mean, you know, anyway, you'll hear more about that later. So first of all, though, I want to say thank you Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing to any of my videos, sharing. Those are free ways you can help my channel. Special thank you, as always, to my members. And you'll see there's some new members emojis up there for this case, because I feel like we're going to be talking about this case quite a lot. There's an emoji of the cruise ship and of Anna and Justice. You know, the emojis, they don't come out brilliantly. I might change that Justice one. I don't think you can see it very well. But yeah, Justice for Anna. That's, you know, poor Anna. Nothing can bring her back now. Her life is gone. It's been stolen from her at the age of 18. A promising life. You know, she was talking about joining the military, becoming a K9 handler. You know, she's got all this to offer. What have the other people in this story got to offer to the world? You know, a father who's got a predilection for young girls, even under the age of 16. A stepmother, well, you couldn't even call her a stepmother, could you? Because they were hardly together 5 minutes. You know, and these step siblings, or this particular one. Why was he not kept away from her? You know, the thing is, if that was your daughter and you knew that your new partner's son had a bit of an unhealthy obsession about her, I mean, it'd be difficult to deal with, but you certainly would not put them sleeping together, would you? In the same room. I mean, I know that'll be for financial reasons. Of course, it's expensive. Cruises are expensive. But, you know, a little bit of extra money just for a separate room for her would have, you know, saved her life, wouldn't it? Now, maybe I'm being unfair because maybe they're sort of thinking all that themselves. So we have to be aware of that. But anyway. So yes, very special thank you for my members. And this week in Members Live on Thursday, I'll be playing my Christmas videos for the first time. I think we'll have a Christmas jumper night, like even though it's not quite December and I don't really like to start celebrating Christmas till December, but it's good to do it with my members first. And we might have a little Christmas quiz that somebody suggested just to get us warming up for Christmas. Anyway, lucky us that we're going to see Christmas. Poor Anna is not going to see Christmas. I just really feel this girl has been completely betrayed by the people that should have protected her, all of them. So yeah, very special thank you to those of you who buy me Ko-fis, send me super stickers, send me emails, offering advice. You know, sometimes people have sent me an email that's explained to me how to do something that, you know, people, if I put out an appeal that I don't know how to resolve an issue or do this or do that, somebody will always email me and let me know how to do it, which is nice. People email me with suggestions for cases, which I don't always get around to doing because there are that many cases, but they're always interesting to, sometimes the cases I didn't know about, they're always interesting for me to watch, you know, something that I didn't know before. So thank you so much. And I've had a lot of lovely messages lately. I've had a lot of lovely messages, comments and things. So all that, it just gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling and makes it all worthwhile. So thank you so much. Okay, so hi, lovely lurkers. That's those of you I know who like to watch the lives, but a bit nervous of coming into the chat. Thank you for watching. Hello, replay crew. Those of you who can't catch up with the live, but who can't be here for the live, but like to catch up later, thank you so much. And now I'm going to come into the chat and say hello to those of you who are brave enough to come in. Now, as you may have noticed, it's freezing here again today. For those of you who maybe don't know, I'm based in Spain, in Europe, which is normally quite hot. But at the moment, it's 12 degrees, but it's really quite cold. I've even got the heater out, got my hat on. I haven't got my gloves on again. I don't know where my gloves are. Anyway, they'll be here somewhere. Very cold. Let me know what your weather's like where you are and where you're watching from. You know, it's always interesting to see where people are watching from. Okay, let's come in and say hello. Hi, pink fluffy rabbits. Hi, David. Yes, the Timo's arrived. It was a total letdown. I'm never ordering from Temu again. It's got the nail varnishes nice. This is one of the nail varnishes, the gold one. That's quite nice, but you know, could probably have got that somewhere else. The other things are Christmassy things. So I've got 3 nail varnishes and a few Christmassy things. So I'll unveil them when it comes, maybe on Thursday in the members live to start with. A very dysfunctional family, David. You know, all families are a little bit dysfunctional, aren't they? You know, as you realise as you talk to people about their families, you know, what is a normal family? Because you know, people are people, aren't they? But you know, now I was thought my family's quite dysfunctional, which it is, but nothing like this one. You know, you just like this poor girl. Just who was looking after her? Who had her interests at heart? Hi, Miss Lee. Hi, Maria. Hi, proud liberal. So most certainly, one thing, whatever dysfunctional family might have, one thing you should always remember is if you know, if your new partner's son has a healthy obsession with your daughter, who's 18 and he's 16, and he's got an obsession with knives, apparently. He's displayed unsettling behaviour towards her. You don't put them to sleep together in a bedroom. You know, I mean, I wouldn't imagine she would have like that, or even he. I don't know, maybe he did like it, but normally teenagers don't like all sleeping together, you know, boys and girls, do they? You know, I mean, when kids are young, they don't care, do they? You know, kids when they're young, they don't think about gender so much or anything like that. But as they get older and they get self-conscious, that the teenagers do. I bet she can't have liked being in that room with him, but of course she didn't have a choice because she wasn't paying. So to just pay a little bit more for a room just for her, anyway, it's too late now. There's nothing we can do about it, I suppose. So. Unfortunately, nothing can be done now, can it? So for anyone who maybe doesn't know about this case, so this girl, young, 18, attractive, typical girl, always doing TikToks, taking selfies, typical young teenage girl. That's what teenage girls do, and boys these days. That's the way of the world. Went on a cruise ship with her family, her dad's partner, her son, I think, and then I don't know if they've got some communal children, you know, because I think in one room was the dad, the stepmom, or the dad's new partner, and 2 children. Is that their children or younger children? Honestly, I'm very confused with the whole family dynamics. But anyway, what we do know is that in another room was Anna, 16-year-old step brother, if you like, but I think it might be a bit too much to call him a stepbrother, because her father and his new partner, I don't think they've been together that long, so he wasn't a proper, you know, wasn't a stepbrother that she'd been brought up with. And then her biological brother, who I think he's 14, so the stepbrother is 16, the biological brother 14, and they were all in a stateroom together. Now, I just want to show you, actually, before we carry on, up there on Twitter, Jennifer Coffindaffer, she put on a link to the staterooms. Just to give us an idea of what these rooms are like. So don't forget, this is a cruise ship. Cruise ships, the cabins are small, so not only she was sharing a room with these two boys, and one is a biological brother, but even that you wouldn't want to do when you were 16, would you? These are the sort of rooms, the cabins rooms. It was a state room. So let's have a look. Interior stateroom tour. I think a tour is a bit of a, it wouldn't take you long to tour it, would it? This is Carnival Mardi Gras, so it's not the same one, but it gives us an idea. Where are the, what I'm trying to say is cruise ship cabins, they're not big either. So not only I want to look at the bedroom situation. Yeah, there you go. So it'd be something like this, probably, where they were staying. And Anna's body was, as I say, this is not the actual room. It may not even be the actual ship, but it's a carnival stateroom. So it's going to be similar to this, isn't it? Imagine sleeping there with two teenage boys. Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing. Imagine sleeping there with two teenage boys. I mean, there's not much privacy, is there? And a teenage girl needs privacy, especially when they're sharing a cabin with a boy, a 16-year-old boy who's supposedly obsessed with them. So that's worrying, isn't it? I mean, it's like a budget type thing. And I understand that, money, when you go, there's a lot of them. I don't know what Anna's mum and stepdad do for a living. But it would have cost a lot of money to go on this cruise, wouldn't it, for all those people? So let's suppose, so it's Anna's dad, his partner, I think two other kids, and then three teenagers in here. So, yeah, unfortunately, Anna was the only girl. But you can see it's not, oh my God, just the thought of sleeping in there with someone that had previously made inappropriate comments and actions towards you makes me feel claustrophobic. Looking at that picture makes me feel completely uncomfortable with it. Yeah, proud liberal. Anna had no drugs or alcohol in her system. According to the autopsy, she had no drugs or alcohol in her system. So that's not true that they're saying she'd been drinking. It's not true. Because according to the autopsy, she hadn't. She had nothing in her system at all. I don't know about the boy. As you say, the boy supposedly, again, none of this has been confirmed officially. So we've got to be careful of all the information until there's a press conference or something and we get the official information. But according to what people are saying, the young lad that's supposedly been investigated, like we're wondering, where's the handcuffs? Well, I certainly am. Why has he not been arrested, etc.? And it's thought to be because so I'm going to put my handcuffs up again. I've been thinking, where are the handcuffs for this boy? But as you say, the rumours are that he was hospitalised immediately, after he got off the ship, which makes sense because he's going to make the mental illness defense, isn't he? So, I mean, he's a minor for a start. That's probably another reason we're not getting lots of information about him. But also, that's the defense that's going to come out, isn't it? Mental. Maybe they've not been able to arrest him yet until he's assessed mentally. Maybe he tried to delete himself. We don't know. As I say, we don't know the details. We only know rumours at the moment, don't we? That's just the way it is. But what we do know the forensic report. The forensic report, she was strangled. I think she was strangled in an arm lock. What was the other thing? She had bruises. There was no sex attack. What was the other things? Yeah, and then she was. So we don't know. That's supposedly the cause of death. It is being treated as a homicide, I believe now. But she had no drugs or alcohol in her system. Now, there's a lot of people saying about them being able to drink on this cruise ship because it was international waters. I do think that's possibly true. As I was saying yesterday, I do remember going on the ferry over from UK to France, and there's a certain point you get to in the middle of the channel where they can open the bar whatever time it is because it hasn't got rules. So I think that may be true for parts of that cruise, not for the bits. Depends. It's when they get out to a certain point where it's classed as international waters. But having said that, that means they can open, the bars can be open. Doesn't necessarily mean that someone who's under 21 can get a drink. I would think not, to be honest. I mean that the bars maybe can be open 24 hours a day. But I doubt very much whether because most countries have got an age limit on drinking of some kind, haven't they? I think it's 21 in the US, but in the UK, it's 18, isn't it? So probably most countries have got some sort of limit on how old. Anyway, according to CCTV and that, it's been shown that apparently, again, no official confirmation. It's been shown that he didn't drink any alcohol either, but I don't know how you can prove that by CCTV, really. I don't know. Well, you know what, Maria, it sounds to me that the parents, they would just let them get on with it because they were older. I mean, at the end of the day, it's hard. If an 18-year-old says, oh, I'm going to have a walk around or whatever, you probably would let them go, wouldn't you? Or whatever, I don't know. Anyway, who knows what happened? I'd like to know, was he already in the cabin when Anna fell ill and decided to go back? Or did he follow Anna to the cabin? Maybe they were all out and she said she felt ill. Maybe she wasn't really ill. Maybe she felt uncomfortable around him. Maybe he'd already been saying things to her or whatever. So maybe she just went back to the cabin to be on her own for a bit. Did he follow her back to the cabin? Or was she already in the cabin? Was he already in the cabin when she went back early? These are, all things that we don't know, isn't it? We don't know yet. So we have to remember that there's a lot that we don't know yet. Now, so that was, as I said, that's not the actual cabin room, but I should imagine it's very similar. The bed situation, a stateroom on a Carnival cruise, it's going to look a bit like that, isn't it? And could you imagine sleeping in there near someone that you knew had behaved inappropriately towards you? I honestly, where's these parents? Where's their heads in this? So another, according to the New York Post, another sort of information, again, not confirmed officially, that's coming out is that her brother heard yelling and commotion in her cruise cabin while she was locked in alone with her stepbrother. Why was she locked in alone with her stepbrother? I wonder. Let's just have a look at this.
whose two teenage sons were also in tow on the voyage. Before tragedy struck, Anna's father said his family had their world turned upside down after a
Yeah.
maid on a Carnival Horizon cruise ship made a disturbing discovery: the lifeless body of an 18-year-old girl, stuffed under a bed and wrapped in a blanket. Who was Anna Kepner, the bubbly, straight-A student whose body was mysteriously discovered? And why are the feds now eyeing her 16-year-old stepbrother as a suspect? Here's everything you need to know. The Florida teen, affectionately nicknamed Anna Banana, and her blended family set sail on November 2nd from
Yeah, see, they call it a blended family, but I don't think they'd been together very long. You know, this wasn't a family that had been together for a long time. The other thing I just want to say, like when he was saying she's straight A student, and Anna sounds to me like one of these survivors of dysfunctional families that go on to do wonderful things, or she would have done if she would have been given a chance. Because you'll see in a moment when we see her mum talking, her biological mum, as much as my heart bleeds for her, you know, she is a recovering addict and she had no relationship with Anna at the end. So, you know, she blames the father, of course, but, you know, I don't know. We'll listen to what she has to say and I'll leave you to make your own mind up about Anna's biological mum.
Miami for a 6-day Carnival cruise, which was supposed to set sail throughout the Caribbean. The teen was on the ship with her father, Christopher Kepner, and her new stepmom, Chantel
See, she looks quite a bit younger. He likes young girls, this man. That's 100%
Hudson.
certain. He left his first wife, or she left him, because she found out she'll tell us about that in a moment, because she found out he was having lots of affairs, often with underage girls. And one of the girls he was having an affair with was the babysitter. And after Anna's mum left this guy, Christopher, he ended up marrying that babysitter as soon as she got old enough to be married. And apparently she's not the only young girl that he's had relationships with. And just looking at this girl's face, she looks young, doesn't she? But she's got a 16-year-old son, but she still looks quite a lot younger than him. Maybe she's just got a young face. I don't know if she's got a 16-year-old son. She's going to be in her 30s, isn't she, at the least? But yeah, he's not, you know, he's not a prime. So the father's not too clever. The mum's a recovering addict, which, you know, good for her that she's conquered that addiction. You've got this complicated family relationship. I just feel like Anna never stood a chance, bless her.
whose two teenage sons were also in tow on the voyage. Before tragedy struck, Anna had plans to join the U.S. Navy after graduation and eventually become a K-9 police officer. But on the fourth night of the cruise, the fun-loving teen reportedly told family members at dinner that she was not feeling well and decided to go back to her room, according to the Daily Mail. When she didn't show up for breakfast the next morning, a desperate search was made of the massive ship, which can carry nearly 4,000 pounds.
Yeah, now was she really ill? I wonder. You know, did she just want to get away from them for a while? I mean, she was apparently was looking forward to this cruise. You know, apparently she was looking forward to it. She'd been on one before. She did a social media post. Was she looking forward to it? And on that night, was she really ill, or did she just want to get some privacy, go back to the room maybe for a bit of privacy? Maybe she wanted to do some videos or whatever for her TikTok. And then you think, well, was he there already, or did he follow her back there? And the other thing I don't understand is if it's true that the brother, her biological brother, who was also staying in that room, heard shouting and arguing from the room, why did he not intervene
Passengers.
or
The
tell
search
his
came to a
parents?
disturbing end when a maid on the ship made a grisly discovery. Anna was reportedly found dead, wrapped in a blanket, covered in life jackets, and crammed underneath the bed inside the cabin she shared with her 14-year-old and 16-year-old stepbrothers. The shocking death prompted the Carnival cruise ship to abruptly change.
Yeah, you see, even I think the media are getting confused. So they said with her 14-year-old and 16-year-old stepbrothers. And that's what I remember hearing at first. But now I've read articles where they said it's her biological brother. So somebody, I don't know. You know, it's very confusing, this whole family dynamic.
Course for the port of Miami, Florida, where the FBI Miami office jump-started the investigation, since the teen's death occurred in international waters somewhere between Mexico and Miami. But bombshell details about the mysterious case have since emerged from an unexpected source. According to a court motion filed on November 17th, from a messy custody dispute between Anna's stepmother, Chantel, and her ex-husband, Thomas, Chantel requested that a hearing be rescheduled because she claimed that her son, Anna's 16-year-old stepbrother.
So this is the biological father of one of this boy, is it? Looks like the older one. Was this little girl on that trip as well? She was probably staying in the same room as the parents. But anyway, this is the accused boy, or the alleged killer of Anna. This is her biological father. His biological father, and we saw him appearing in court in a video yesterday, didn't we? God knows what he makes of it all. My goodness.
Was being named a suspect in the teen's killing and could face a criminal case. The stepbrother, who was identified as TH in documents, remains in the care of one of his mother's relatives as the investigation into his stepsister's death continues, according to legal filings in a Brevard County family court. Chillingly, Chantel also accused her ex of domestic and physical abuse against their two youngest children, including the boy who is now being questioned by the FBI in the high school senior's mysterious death, according to an emergency motion filed in court. Now, even more disturbing details have been trickling out. According to a new report from Daily Mail, Anna's 14-year-old brother unknowingly went to sleep just feet away from his dead sister. Sources say during the same night, the teen went back to her room after feeling sick. The teen's two stepbrothers also went back to their shared room with Anna later that evening, before her younger brother changed his clothes and left again to take pictures of the Carnival Horizon as it continued its Caribbean voyage. Sources say that when the 14-year-old came back, he noticed his stepsister wasn't in bed, but he assumed she had gone out again to be with the adults. The young boy thought nothing of it and went to sleep.
Yeah, so he's gone to sleep.
En este piso hay drama, memes y buena fibra.
He's gone to sleep, but then further on in this article that I think I've just put down, but I was still reading it. Hang on. New York Times. Yeah. Anyway, I don't need to get the article up, just enough to tell you that apparently, according to the New York Times, the other brother, not the one who's accused, who's been investigated, but the other brother heard a commotion. So I just don't understand why he would have heard a commotion, shouting and banging from the room, and then not either intervened or gone and told his parents about it. You know, so now we're going to look at Anna's biological mother. And as you say, proud liberal, she apparently was banned from Anna's funeral, which seems, well, it wasn't, it was a celebration of life, wasn't it, or whatever. I presume it was a funeral too, I don't know. But, and she apparently went along there, disguised herself, and went along to that funeral, which just seems awful that a mother would have to do that. How could she be banned from her own daughter's funeral? Now, when you watch this video from Anna's mother, you might understand a bit more. There's obviously so much bad blood in this family. So Anna's biological mother, she had not had any contact with Anna for quite a long time. She's a recovering drug addict. Let me just show you now. This is one photo that I've got of her. You'll see on this video. I mean, she looks, you know, I know that I don't mean to be unkind, but people that are on drugs, they do tend to end up looking like this quite young, don't they, in their lives? It's very sad. You know, her face tells a story, doesn't it? And apparently she has no teeth. She's going to tell us about that in her video. But that doesn't mean say she didn't love Anna, but there was obviously animosity between Anna's biological mum and Anna's biological father. There's a lot of animosity between them. She hates him. She describes him as a narcissist, selfish, egoistic, narcissist who has a penchant for young girls. He cheated on her with many women, including many young girls, one of which was the babysitter, which is definitely true because he went on to marry her. And he was accused not only of, like, I suppose it'd be statutory RAPE or whatever, but also sex violence. And she accuses him of domestic violence. He's not a nice person, Anna's dad. He just isn't. I'm sorry, but he's not. And I'm sure I know he didn't kill his daughter. He's probably heartbroken that his daughter has died. But, what did he do to protect her? What did he do to protect her? So anyway, that's what we're going to listen to. We're going to listen to this Tik-Tok that Anna's biological mum has put out. So this is out in the public sphere. And we're going to watch it and listen to it. The audio's not brilliant. I hope you'll be able to hear it okay. But I think it's very illuminating, even more illuminating for this family dynamic. Ooh. Oh, sorry, I want to put that to the side, don't I?
Hi, Tik-Tok. Just Mom here. This goes out to all of you who think you know me, or you think you know what happened between me and
so
Anna.
there's sorry,
Anna.
She's obviously got some sort of filter on here, but this she's put this video out publicly on TikTok. As I say, the audio's not brilliant, so you need to listen carefully. It's one of them that if you've got earphones, you're probably better off listening with earphones, because I don't know how to improve the audio. Sorry.
And I stopped talking because Christopher is a narcissistic sociopath. Now,
so that's how she describes Anna's dad, a narcissistic sociopath. So that's her opinion of him. So you can see there's no love lost between them, is there?
With that being said, let me give you a little history on me, Anna, Christopher, Tabby. I don't know anything about his new wife. I don't want to know anything about that bitch or her children. They all need therapy. They all need all kinds of shit, and her son needs to be locked up. He knew what he was doing when he did what he did.
So she said, I don't want to know anything about his new partner. All her kids need therapy, blah, blah, blah. His son's a danger to society. He knew what he did when he did what he did to my daughter.
So, Anna was 4 when I moved to Oklahoma. I moved to Oklahoma for the simple fact that my fiance made more money here, and he was from here, so he could get a job really easily here.
So she's in Oklahoma, which is miles away from where Anna lived in the end. They're in sort of Miami, Florida area. So she's now explaining why she's in Oklahoma. She says that her fiance at the time, he was the I don't know if she's still with him or not. He was the main wage earner. He could get a job easier in Oklahoma. I suppose it depends what he does. And so she moved there with him, but it was supposed to only be for a year. But in the end, she's still there. Sort of 16 years later or whatever. And that was one of the reasons why her relationship broke down with Anna, because of the distance, because it's a long way away. It's a long way away from Florida. That's what she's saying.
So I moved. Mind you, he told me it would only be for a year, and then we would be back in Florida, so I could be back with my daughter. And I agreed. Only he lied, because I'm still in Oklahoma, and this is 14 years later.
14 years.
And now, looking back, I made the best choice that I could for my family. But when I look back at it, it was the worst mistake I ever made because I lost my daughter. Her dad made it next to impossible for me to have a relationship with Anna on purpose because he was mad that I left him. Well, Christopher.
Now, I don't know. What do you think about that? So she's blaming it all squarely on the father. But of course, then she went on and became a drug addict. She became a drug addict later. She'll tell us the story of how she became a drug addict. So she's blaming the father quite clearly, and I'm sure he would blame her. There's two sides to every story, and the truth is normally somewhere in the middle. Why did she completely lose touch with her daughter? So it's probably to do with the drugs, really, isn't it? If she was honest. She goes on to say, obviously, financial reasons, because it's expensive to get all the way to Florida. But then she moved to Oklahoma, voluntarily. May have been because her boyfriend said it'd only be a year or whatever, but she still moved there voluntarily. And she knew that, to see Anna from Oklahoma was always going to be expensive, because she had to go all the way to Florida to get Anna, bring her back to Oklahoma, and then after the, however long the stay was, then she had to take Anna back to Florida and then come back. And she says that Christopher, the father, did not help towards the petrol or anything. Now, I don't know. I'll leave you, I don't want to judge this woman. She's lost her daughter and she didn't kill her, that's for sure. But, wouldn't a court, if you go to court, would they make the father pay something towards it? I don't know. But then she shouldn't have moved to Oklahoma to me. I know it is her fiance said, oh, come on, let's move to Oklahoma because I can earn more money there. I understand that. But she's still there 14 years later. And she's got to take responsibility for her own actions too.
Were you trying to get sister wives going because you were with me? You were fucking Tabby, and then you married her after she turned 18.
So there she's referring to the babysitter. So you were effing whatever the girl's, I missed the girl's name. And then you married her when she got to 18. So you know what? Anna's dad really is a bit of a piece of shit, isn't he? He's a rapist. Sorry, I shouldn't say that word. He's a statutory rapist, isn't he? He was having an affair. Well, you can't call it an affair. He was abusing the babysitter. Even if it's voluntary, it's still abuse at that age. So he's not a very nice person, is he, the father? And according to her, that's not the only child that he abused. So, this is what I mean in my, in the thumbnail that I did for this video. I just feel like Anna never stood a chance. She never stood a chance. That poor girl. Who out of any of these that we've seen, really, you think, who actually cared about Anna first? It's like Anna was on the back burner for everything. And it resulted in her being choked to death by a boy that should never have been anywhere near her because of the previous behaviour that he displayed. God, we talk about, I'm going to have to put up my red flags. We talk about red flags. How many red flags were there in this case? Terrible.
You cheated on me with 24 other women, including Tabby. 3 of them were under the age of 18. 3 of them were actually between the ages of 15 and 17.
So I don't know if you caught that, but she said he cheated on me with 24 women. That's what she's saying about Christopher. He cheated on me with 24 women, 3 of which were underage. Now, I believe her when she says that. Why would she say that if it wasn't true? And look at his track record. The surprise to me is how he ever gets a woman to like him. You know, like what power has he got over women? I mean, young girls are easy to be manipulated, but if he cheated on her with 24 women, 3 of which were underage. So he's not a very nice person, is he?
And I'm not okay with that. Mind you, I say that, but I'm not mad at Tabitha. Tabitha is a great person. She was a mother to my daughter when I couldn't be.
Now, then she says about Tabitha, who was the second wife, the babysitter. And interestingly enough, she says, I'm not mad at Tabitha. Tabitha is a great person. So Tabitha, the second wife, the previous babysitter, she helped to bring up Anna, didn't she? She's more of a stepmom than this new one is, Shauna. She's only been there 5 minutes. You couldn't call her a stepmom, really. But Anna's biological mum seems quite positive about Tabitha, and that she probably, you know what probably happened was Tabitha, she married, this poor Tabitha married this guy at 18, and then she probably realised pretty quick that she hadn't exactly won the lottery by marrying this horrible man, and probably got rid of him pretty quick after that. I hope she's okay now, and she's probably suffering more now for the loss of Anna, you know, because she built up a relationship. Well, she babysat her, for fuck's sake. First of all, she was her babysitter, and then she became her stepmother. So I expect she's suffering a lot. Anyway, she had a lucky escape from that man, but unfortunately, because Christopher ended up with Shauna, that's how Anna lost her life. She's just been failed by everybody, this girl. Poor Anna. Honestly, my heart is just breaking for her.
She did a great job raising her. Anyway, Christopher made it next to impossible for me to have a relationship with my daughter. He made it extremely hard for me to see her. He would ignore my phone calls, not tell Anna that I called, and then call like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, and Anna would be like, Mom, why haven't you called me? And I'm like, I've been calling you. You didn't get any of my voicemails? Your dad didn't listen to them? No, he said you haven't called.
So she's clearly blaming Christopher, isn't she? She's saying that all these times she tried to call Anna, he wouldn't tell Anna that she'd called. He wouldn't let her tell her about the voicemail she left, etc. This is what she's saying, you know, and this does happen because, you know what, that man, although she left him because he'd had 24 other women, 3 of which were underage girls, he won't think of it like that. He'll just think, how dare you leave me? How dare you leave me? Oh, yes, I had 24 different women. But still, you can't leave me. And she said, she made that comment, oh, I didn't know if he was looking at a sister-wife scenario. You know, he should have become a Mormon, shouldn't he? And been able to have loads of different wives, if that's that. You know, he just sounds like a horrible man. As you say, David, they need to open a branch of Specsavers over there. But it's not even about how he looks, because a lot of people who don't look nice, you know, aren't conventionally attractive, they're still charismatic, or you can still see why women would like them. But what would you think a woman would see in a man like that? Well, a woman wouldn't. A young girl might, because you see, it's so much easier to turn the head of a young girl, isn't it? than it is of a woman, you know. And she was under his spell once, you know. I honestly, sometimes you just watch it and you think, oh my God, like not only Specsavers, they need some sort of a lobotomy or something, you know. I don't know what the answer is, but you just think, what, that Shauna looked really happy with him, and the photos, like she looks like she's won a prize. Listen, you did not win the lottery with this guy. You did not. I don't know. Having said that, he didn't win the lottery with you either, and your psychotic son, allegedly. But, you know, mate, and who suffered from it? They're in this relationship. They probably all deserve each other. And there's Anna in the middle of it. You know what it's like? It's like the Addams family, you know, where you've got the weird family and the one normal one, and all the other weird ones think she's normal. I bet Anna was in that family. It was like, you know, she was probably the only one that was decent. And she suffered from it because they all probably thought she was easy prey because she was such a nice person. She'd be like the scapegoat of the family. She was probably smoothing things over. And, you know, where else did she have to go? Because she didn't have her mum to go to.
I didn't care. I've been telling her I didn't care. And then I moved away for years because I didn't love her. At least that's what I'm telling myself, because that's the only thing that made sense as to why we grew apart. And also because I couldn't see her as much as I wanted to. It was about $1,400 every summer to go down and see Anna and bring her back here for 2 months, because Christopher wouldn't help me pay for the gas it took to drive all the way down to Florida and back up to Oklahoma.
Now she's saying it costs $1,400 to go to Florida and back, you know, to get Anna, and then also then to go and take Anna back. Well, you know, if she wouldn't have been taking drugs, she would have been able to afford that. I wonder how much she spent on drugs. You know, $1,400 is a lot of money, but especially when you're a drug addict as well. The thing is, I think what she's not admitting, and she needs to admit it, the drugs were more important than going to see Anna, weren't they? Because she was an addict. I mean, don't get me wrong, she was an addict, and addictions aren't things you can control. You know, you get to a point where only you can get yourself out of this situation. But yeah, $1,400 is a lot of money. But if she wouldn't have been taking drugs, she would have been able to afford it. And, you know, she wouldn't have had to need to rely on Christopher. And what about her fiance, you know, who moved down to Oklahoma for this brilliant new job? Why didn't he help out with it?
And then not even a month and a half later, drive all the way back down to Florida and back up to Oklahoma when I had to take her home. I loved my daughter. Let me get that straight right now. My children are my world. And even though I wasn't in her.
Now, I understand what you're saying. Honest to God, my heart does go out to her. But we all know that when someone's a drug addict, their children are not their world. Drugs are their world. And children are fitted in around the drugs, not the drugs fitted in around the children. You know, that I mean, she looks very sad and I feel for her, but she's got to own it. She was a drug addict. The drugs were more important. If she wanted to find $1,400, she could have found $1,400, but she chose to spend her money on drugs.
Life, it doesn't mean I didn't think about her every day.
I mean, she'll feel bad now. Of course she will.
I battle with severe depression because of it. Extremely high anxiety because of it. Yes, I was addicted to drugs for about 2.5 to 3 years. The only reason I did them.
So I think what I resent about Anna's mother is, and she's going to say it again now, it's not her fault. It's not her fault she went to Oklahoma, is it? Supposedly the fiance made her go. It's not her fault she didn't have $1,400 to go and visit Anna. And now she's going to tell you why she became a drug addict. But it wasn't her fault. It wasn't her fault. I think the problem for me with Anna's mum is she's got to own the mistakes she's made and not try and blame everything on everybody else, because I know addictions get hold of you, I understand that, but there's only you can fix it. Nobody can fix you. And she could have, she shouldn't have gone to, she went to Oklahoma, she said she shouldn't have gone, but she just went because of the fiance. And now she's going to tell you that she became a drug addict because somebody made her do it.
Man that my ex-fiance trusted, he was his best friend, took me out under the pretenses of making money and scrapping, and threatened my life and told me that if I did not get high while we were at this house, that they would kill me because they've been up way too long.
So she was told by, I don't know if it was the same boyfriend she went to Oklahoma for or a different boyfriend, but she was told by him and his friend that if she didn't get high, because they were all getting high, and if she didn't get high, she must be an undercover police person or a snitch. So she had to get high to prove that she wasn't, otherwise they would kill her. So this is her reason for becoming a drug addict. Yeah. And as you say, Proud Liberal, she's smoking away there, or she's got a cigarette in her hand. That won't have helped her skin. I mean, seriously, if there's anything you want to do badly for your skin is take drugs and smoke. It's just like not going to do your skin any good, is it? You know, I mean, even alcohol doesn't do that. But I think a lot of people who drink a lot, they end up aging well. I think alcohol pickles you. I don't know what it is. But from what I've seen, a lot of alcoholics don't seem to age that badly. But drugs combined with smoking, you know, smoking is bad for your skin. Everybody knows it. Another addiction, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's hard to stop smoking. I know that. I've stopped smoking myself a few years ago, and it is hard. The other day, I went and I had to go and get a packet of cigarettes for number one son. I didn't have to, but I did. I did him a favour and went and got them. And I must admit, because just looking at the packet, I was like, oh, I just sort of fancied one. And that's the first time for ages that I'd even, normally I hate the smell of smoke and everything. It must have been a stressful morning, I don't know. And I just looked at this packet and I thought, oh, I could just smoke one of them. But I tell you what, if the world ever ends or whatever, in fact, I should keep a packet of cigarettes somewhere, because I think if we're ever given a 3-minute warning, I'm just going to drink a bottle of whiskey and smoke about 20 cigarettes or as many as I can fit in that 3 minutes. Because occasionally I do, smoking is difficult to get up. It's a drug. Nicotine's a drug. But yeah, the thing is, how much is it costing her to smoke? So even up to recently, smoking is, oh God, it's so expensive, isn't it? Because it's been so long since I've bought a packet of cigarettes. I think the last packet of cigarettes I bought here in Spain, which was probably, I can't even remember when I gave up, but years ago, it was €3. And this packet of cigarettes was €5.60, which I know is probably be cheaper in Spain than it is anywhere else. But I thought, oh my God, I couldn't afford to smoke anyway. But she can afford to smoke. So she could have afforded to maybe give up a few packets of cigarettes and save up some money to go and visit her daughter. It's like, oof.
And if I didn't get high or hit the pipe, I was either a cop or I was an undercover, or I was either a cop or I was a snitch. So I've never hung around drug addicts. I mean, yeah, my parents were drug addicts, but I was a child. I didn't hang around their friends. So I have no idea what drug addicts are like, except what I see on the news, which is they kill people. That's not exactly true either. They do not kill people. Idiots kill people. Anyway, so I got addicted to drugs for about 3 years.
Now, as somebody said, I think it was David in the chat, when you have that dramatic a result, let's remind ourselves how this lady looks without the filter. And I'm not trying to be horrible to her. If anything, I'm trying to warn anybody who's on drugs, thinking of taking drugs or whatever. This is how this lady looks without the filter. Now, when you've reached that point, you're not just a recreational drug user. Some people can go out at the weekend and smoke a few spliffs or even take cocaine or whatever, and then function normally the rest of the week without feeling they have to wake up and smoke a joint immediately. Other people can't. That's the difference. Same with alcohol, isn't it? There's people who can drink at the weekends or even drink every day, but just a couple of glasses and not have to get absolutely riotously drunk. We've all got our different personalities. But someone who has lost all their teeth, now she's going to go on and tell us that it was nothing to do with drugs, it was something to do with something else. But sorry, I just don't believe that. Again, I think this lady, as much as I feel for her, I think she needs to be honest with herself about herself. She can't keep blaming everything on anybody else. That's when you get stronger, is when you stop blaming everybody else for your problems and take responsibility for your own problems. Even if you've been through a traumatic childhood or a traumatic relationship, it comes to a point where you have to take responsibility because it's your life. You're the only one who can deal with things. Nobody can make you give up drugs or make you give up smoking or make you give up alcohol. Only you can do it. But you've got to own it. You've got to face up to what you've done wrong, haven't you? I don't think this lady is doing that. I think she's blaming everybody else. And I'm not saying that Christopher isn't a piece of shit. I think he is a piece of shit. And he's had a lot to do with it. And I know they can break you down, these people. But she's not with him now. She's escaped from him now. And she needs to try and face up, be strong for her. I presume she's got other children.
And I got off drugs by myself. I didn't go to rehab. I didn't, I just quit cold turkey. Okay? Yes, I have no teeth in my mouth. No, that has nothing to do with drugs. That has to do with a hereditary gum disease I got from both of my parents.
So she's saying she's got no teeth because of some hereditary disease she got from her parents. Yeah, I don't know how old she is, Proud Liberal. I'll have a look in a minute.
Why don't I have teeth? Well, because the last set of dentures that I bought, a bitch got mad because she was jealous.
She's going to be around his age, isn't she, or younger? But having said that, don't know how old he is either. Let's have a look. Well, I bet she's not older than 50 anyway. Yeah, it's not coming up easily about her age, so I'm not going to look for it now. I'll look for it at some point.
That I look better than her, apparently. So she thought she would burn my dentures, and because she thought she looked better than me, with no teeth in her mouth. And like I told her, bitch, I look better than you with no teeth in my mouth on a bad fucking date.
So that's not. So then the true colours start to come out a little bit. So she's talking about, who's she talking about? Where she says, oh, they were jealous of the way I looked. I thought, oh my God, they must look. And she says, oh, bitch, I look better than you on my worst day with no teeth in my mouth. So you just think, oh, well, God knows what this other woman looks like. But even so, that's just not a nice thing for her to say about another woman, is it? I did feel then that was a taste of her true colours. Let's just listen to that again.
Because the last set of dentures that I bought, a bitch got mad because she was jealous that I looked better than her, apparently. So she thought she would burn my dentures.
Who?
I bought. A bitch got mad because she was
Who got mad?
That
I didn't catch who she was saying that got mad because apparently she looks better than them.
I look better than her, apparently. So she thought she would burn my dentures, and because she thought she looked better than me with no teeth in her mouth. And like I told her, bitch, I look better than you with no teeth in my mouth on a bad fucking date. I'm sorry. God made me that way, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, besides the point.
God made her that way. You know, I think, you know, sorry, I just think she's got, that showed to me a sign of the true Heather. Like, it's not right to say that about another woman. Bitch, I look better than you with no teeth in my mouth. You know, and it's not nice to say that. And she's saying that publicly on her TikTok about another woman. She won't like it. People will be commenting on her appearance like we have because, you know, I mean, as I said, does anyone know how old this lady is? If you ever saw anyone who's an advertisement for not taking drugs, not smoking, this lady is. Unfortunately, you are. And I don't believe the story that she tells about it. A lot of people say that, don't they? Oh, I've got no teeth, but it's nothing to do with taking drugs. It's because of whatever or whatever. I've heard on a lot of crime cases, I've heard people saying that kind of thing. Yeah, I've got no teeth, but it's nothing to do with drugs. But of course it is. And then they'll say things like, because they're not even elder, you know, as you get older, your teeth aren't as good, are they? But, you know, these are not old people. She's not an old person. She could be 30 years younger. Sorry, not 30. She could be easily 20 years younger than me. You know, and sorry, if I had to choose between the way I look and the way she looks, I'd choose the way I look. Thank you. So it's like, you know, it doesn't come down to looks anyway. But the thing is, she's obviously abused her body. She's not facing up to it, is she? Maybe she's not even seeing the way she really looks, because if she always looks at herself through a filter, she won't see it. I know what I see in the morning when I wake up and I look at it in the mirror. You know, the wrinkles get worse every day. But you know what? Every wrinkle tells a story. But yeah, it's a strange one. So she's quite nasty to that other, and she says they burnt her dentures. And then why did she not get any more dentures? Because, you know, much as I hate the dentist, and I do only ever go when it's absolutely necessary, but I think if I lost any teeth at the front, I'd be straight down there. Well, I know I would for fillings and things because I've done it before. I do tend to neglect the back of my mouth, I must admit.
But I love all three of my kids. And right now I'm not allowed to see either one of my boys. Why? I don't know why.
So she's got 3 kids. Her daughter's been murdered and she's not allowed to see the other boys. And she says she doesn't know why.
I can't see either one of my boys. Their father will not talk to me. And all I get to communicate with is his wife, who is lying to me because she told me neither one of the kids ever wanted to see me. That's a bull-faced lie, because my friend Gayla's nephew is in Cody's class, and Cody always tells him how much he misses me and how much he wants to see me. So that right there says the bitch is lying.
The bitch is lying.
She tells me that if I show up on the property, I'll be arrested. Well, I don't give a fuck. Like, police don't scare me. I seen a post just a few minutes ago on Anna's Facebook stating that I was in jail right now. Whenever she made that post, I was in jail right then. But does she know why? I was in jail because of truancy on my son, because I didn't sign him up for school and he missed the first 8 days of school 2 years ago.
So she's just been in prison. So apparently Anna posted about it on her Facebook that she was in jail because she didn't make her son go to school. You know, so this is what I'm trying to say. As much as I feel for this woman, because she's lost her daughter and she wasn't in control of what was happening with Anna, but did she really treat Anna properly? Was she really when Anna needed her to, you know, find the $1,400 to come and pick her up and not spend it on drugs and that? She didn't, did she? She chose drugs and men over Anna.
Yeah, that's why I was in jail. But anyway, so the only reason I didn't have a relationship with my daughter is because Christopher made it impossible and filled my daughter's head with lies. And the only information Christopher actually knows about me is he said, she said bullshit between my ex-fiance and him. Well, my ex.
So she's clearly blaming Christopher, and he's probably got something to do with it. I expect it didn't make their relationship easier. You know, he probably quite likes having a teenage girl in his house. He's worrying me, that father, the more I hear about him. I think he's definitely a POS. But having said that, she's got to face it. She is her own person. She shouldn't have let him come between them.
Fiance doesn't ever talk to me either, so how the fuck does he know what's going on in my life?
Sorry, I just wanted to add, I just thought, you know, I could see when Anna was little, he might have been able to keep phone calls away from her. But as Anna got older, she could have messaged Anna on Facebook or, you know, WhatsApped her on a mobile phone or whatever. Messages don't have to go between the teenage girl from as soon as she had a phone or a Facebook account or whatever. Tik-Tok, you know, you can send private messages on there. She could have contacted Anna privately at any time. She cannot blame Christopher. She cannot. You know, he might be a piece of shit, but at the end of the day, she had the responsibility to keep in touch with her own daughter. And although he may have been able to stop her doing that when Anna was little, I think as Anna got older, how could she have stopped her from contacting Anna on her socials and things? So, you know, she's got to be honest to herself, this woman.
He don't talk to me. He don't see me. All he knows is what other people tell him. So again, he said, she said, fucking bullshit. None of you know what I have been through or what I've been put through or what I put myself through mentally on a daily because of my kids.
The more I hear this woman talk, and as she gets towards the end of this video, I think it gets more and more. It's all about her, isn't it? Me. What I've been through, what I've put myself through. I was made to go to Oklahoma. I was lied to. It was only supposed to be for a year, and I'm still there 14 years later. I was made to become a drug addict because my partner's friend told me he would kill me if I didn't get high. You know, everything's everybody else's fault. It's all about her. What, you know, when has she said in this, I can't believe what Anna's had to go through. I can't believe how I let her down. I should have tried harder. Blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah. There are a million things she could have said, apologising to Anna. But it's not, it is all about her. So, you know, I started watching this and I have felt a lot of sympathy for this woman. And then the more I watched this video, my sympathy started to wane a little bit because I don't see the concern for Anna. It's all about her and not facing up to what she's done wrong.
And Christopher, Barbara, Andrew. Well, actually, Andrew, you don't have anything to do with the last part of this. But I'm going to bring you into it, I promise you, at the very end. Christopher and Barbara, you want to sit there and body shame Tabby for being fat. Have you looked in a mirror lately? Tabitha is not fat. But you...
So then she said, I don't know who she's talking about here, but she starts saying that Christopher has been, and someone else, have been body shaming some people for being fat. And she then starts saying how terrible that is and then starts calling them fat. It's like, what? It sort of descends in the end to this sort of mudslinging, insult hurling diatribe. I don't know what she was trying to achieve with this video.
You look like you ate an elephant. Okay? Christopher, you're 3 times the size of Tabby is. So I don't know why you call her fat. Make it look in a fucking mirror.
So who's Tabitha? You know, this is what, Tabitha is like his second wife. Says that, and he's supposed to have said to you, look like you ate an elephant. The thing is, none of them are very nice people, are they then, by the sound of it? You know, this family. Who's talking about Anna and what she's been through? Now she's starting to have a go at Christopher for fat shaming Tabitha. This has nothing to do with Anna.
And Barbara, you're the same way. Bitch, you're 3 or 4, Tabitha, and you calling her fat. Have you looked in the mirror? I think y'all need to stop deflecting yourselves onto Tabby. Grow the fuck up. Man up. And Andrew, okay, if you want to call me out on how bad of a mother I am or whatever, because you have no idea, let's talk about the teenagers you were dating when you were 28. Did you forget about that? Because you did the same thing your brother was doing. You were both dating minors under the age of 18.
So apparently PDF's running the family with Christopher. She's now calling out his brother, saying that he's been out with all these young girls as well. So poor Anna, the life she must have had with this family, I just think that poor girl, and then to end up the way she did. Who protected her? Nobody protected her. It's terrible, disgusting. No wonder she wanted to join the military.
And y'all were in your mid to late 20s. Thank you.
So there you go. So she finishes on that complete diatribe. So what do you make of that then? So I was a bit gobsmacked, to say the least, when I watched that. I started off very sympathetic towards that woman. I may release that video. I don't know. It's her content, but she's released it publicly. She obviously released that video because she wanted people to hear her story. But, you know, the person that counts is not her. It's this girl. And this girl will never take another selfie. This beautiful girl, let down by everybody. No, it's terror. Honestly, I'm thinking about this girl all the time. I hope she's at peace now. I hope to God she's in somewhere safe, and you just hope and pray that this poor girl, you know, is in a better place, if you can say that. You know, the better place she could have been in was on this planet, in this world, living her life. You know, that's the life she should have had. Poor girl. So, justice for her. You just can't get your head around it, how she was let down. So, is the reason that we've not seen an arrest yet because this lad is has been hospitalised? Are the police waiting for some sort of mental health assessment to be made before they put him in handcuffs? I think the sooner that there is some sort of official, you know, so bear in mind, all these things that we've talked about, really, well, apart from hearing the mum talk, and that was her genuinely talking, you know, is a lot of speculation. Is you know, it feels like all the time new things are coming out. I think, let's have a look. Have I got a news item here? Let's watch this. This is from a local news item. Let's have a look.
The mysterious death of Anna Kepner continues to raise questions. 2 weeks after the 18-year-old died on board a cruise ship, no one's been arrested, and a suspect has not officially been identified. Fox 35's Chancellor Wynn is joining us live tonight. So, Chancellor, what is the latest in this investigation?
Well, Luann, since 18-year-old Anna Kepner died in international waters, this is a federal case being handled by the FBI. Now, as for the speed of the investigation, a former sheriff's detective says he's not surprised at how diligent the FBI is being.
The FBI is well known for keeping all their cards close to their chest.
In the 2 weeks since 18-year-old Anna Kepner died on board a Carnival cruise, former sheriff's detective and investigator James Copenhaver says investigators have been diving into a sea of evidence and witnesses, from family members on the cruise with Anna to other people traveling on the same ship.
I think they're doing their due diligence getting through that part of the investigation. But, you know, you also have forensics, data forensics, and a host of other avenues that they were going down at the same time.
During a court hearing in a custody case involving Anna's stepmom, it's alleged that Anna's 16-year-old stepbrother is a suspect and that he was taken to the hospital as soon as the cruise ship docked. While Copenhaver says investigators should be able to place the suspect inside Anna's room at the time she died.
If the suspect is who we think it is, it's not going to be hard to pick up on that suspect and trace his tracks throughout the cruise ship along with the potential victim, and you're going to build a timeline.
The next thing Copenhaver says he's looking for is for criminal charges to be filed and an arrest to be made in Anna's death.
Whatever crime it may be, potentially second-degree or first-degree murder, then you have to present that case to a jury. So, they don't want to complicate the case, but they want to keep it on point so it doesn't distract from any potential criminal case that's probably going to be filed, I'm hearing, very soon.
A major aspect of this investigation is the surveillance video. Now, Copenhaver says those videos aren't just monitored in real time, but they are also recorded.
Okay, I think that's enough, really. There's not really any more information than what we've talked about. So let me know what you think in comments, of course. Oh, hang on, let me just do that. Yeah, what do you think? Do you feel like me, like a bit angry towards this family and the way that nobody was stepped up for Anna, and it resulted in this now, her death, because she was not protected by the very people who are supposed to protect her? Just disgusting, isn't it? Anyway, I hope you'll join me with, I'll be saying quite a lot of, well, I have been doing, and I will carry on doing, saying that prayers for this girl. She did deserve better. She deserved to be protected by her family, not murdered by, her extended family. As I said, I think it's a bit of calling him a stepbrother is a little bit of a stretch, I think, because they hadn't been in a long relationship yet. This guy, he was just, that makes it even worse, really, because it wasn't a stepson that she had been a stepbrother that she'd been brought up with. It was someone who she'd just been thrown into, and despite the fact that he had, displayed disturbing behaviour towards her, she was made to share a bedroom with him. Terrible, I think. Absolutely terrible. Maybe you agree with me. Anyway, I'm going to just put her picture up, have a little bit of music for her. And I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you.